Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and in this episode you can see Harry is behind me here, all loaded up, and we're heading to the dyno. Yes, it has been a long time coming, but as you saw in the last episode, I actually got Harry moving under his own power, and it's not perfect yet. The clutch is still not sorted. I have done a little bit of work off camera. I did a measuring of the standard clutch, and I found that the standard clutch pedal was about 280 millimeters long, and the travel part of the pivot part that pulls the cable is about 40 millimeters long. On the pedal box I've got in the car, the pedal is shorter, it's 255 mil, and the pull was about 50 mil. So I've shortened the pull, the lower part of the pedal, because obviously the pedal in this car pivots like this. So the lower part, I've shortened it, which has decreased the travel of the cable, but increased the force I get. I worked it out that the factory pedal had roughly a 7-to-1 ratio pull, whereas my pedal was having about a 5-to-1, 4.5, 5-to-1. Shortening it has helped. I've also put a helper return spring on the pedal itself. It's not perfect. There's still far too tight, which I believe is the fact that the cable turns around. Basically, to fix it properly, I'm going to have to go do one of two things, which is either try and reinstate the factory pedal set, and in this case, because I've gone so far down the road with this pedal box, with the e-throttle and everything else, I think it's going to be much easier to go back to my previous thought of going hydraulic. So that's what I think I'm going to do, but that is for another episode, because we need to pack up and head off to the dyno. Adam is in the car, and we are about to start tuning the car, at least for cold start, and then get it on the dyno and see what it does. All right, well, we've decided that because I don't have a map sensor, that's not a great thing, so we're going to just give it a bit of a bass tune today, get it so it can drive but not go all the way, so we're not going to get the final power figure today. Just notice this is sitting very low on this side. It's actually touching the tyre, so I think we're going to get a little bit of a shaved tyre here, and it's definitely something I'm going to have to modify later. It's now strapped down on the dyno. It's quite, it's a little tight. Well, that stopped quickly. Basically what was happening is that the tyre is rubbing on the wheel, actually bubbling the paint up straight away. It really was getting way too hot. It's already flaked the paint here. It's not the best way to do it, but I'm going to trim it out with an angle grinder here. I'll mark it out, trim it out, and hopefully we get enough clearance so that at least it's not touching the wheel on the paint and wrecking it. Definitely not ideal, but it's given us a little bit of clearance. Hopefully it doesn't touch and heat up again. believe it today. We're up to 5,900 RPM. We've got 186 horsepower. The power curve is still ramping right up. It still wants to keep going. We've still got up to about 7,200 RPM. I'm sort of having to push this engine to, but the engine is fresh, so we're not going to push any further. This is a good enough tune to be able to get it registered and get it running, and I can do a bit more driving on it, and then I can come back and do that final power tune. It's still going up at quite a steep rate, so there's plenty more power left in it. I think that's going to do it for now. We'll just do some more fine tuning, and then we'll pack it up and send it home. Now Adam's going through and just doing some of the mid-range stuff, getting it drivable, getting it usable on the street. Adam just went through and was explaining to me how he was sort of creeping up to the tune as he sets the ignition timing to 3 degrees, really conservative, and sat the base air-fuel ratio target at 12. So quite rich and light on the timing. Then he worked up his fuel ratio, leaned it out until it wasn't making any more power. They brought it back, and that gets a nice even fuel flow. And then he's gone through and added timing, sort of 3 degrees, 6 degrees, 9 degrees, 12, 15. The final run was 18 degrees, and at least in the bottom sort of 4,500, 5,000 RPM, it didn't make any more power at 18 degrees than it did at 15. So the 15 is obviously plenty for that lower part of the rev range, but it started making a little more just at the top. So when we come back and tune it later, we can add some more timing, add some more fuel, and it might want to ramp up and keep going. At the moment, the torque curve still hasn't tapered off yet, and the power hasn't tapered off. So there's still enough on the table. There's still plenty more on the table to keep it going. Well, Harry has a road tune. There is still a bunch of little things I need to sort out. I need to set up a map sensor. As Adam said, it's still going to be tuned off of the throttle position sensor, but it needs the map for barometric correction and just to do some load settings. But it's not very reliable using a map sensor off of individual throttle bodies, because you just don't get enough of a map signal and enough of a vacuum signal. So anyway, it's running, it's working. The clutch is absolutely horrible, and yeah, the wheel arch is still rubbing. I've got to raise up this corner somehow. It's sitting too low now. There's a few things to do, but we are getting there. All right, guys, well, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Final power figure, 186 horsepower at the wheels at 5,900 RPM, with that figure still rolling up. So I'll be driving it now. I'll be able to get it registered, and I'll be able to run the engine in properly. And then once that's all done, we can come back and get the full power figures, go all the way up to the red line, which I'm probably going to make about 7,200 RPM. It's good. It's good. It's running. It works. Now it's time to get it home. All right, guys. As always, please like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Follow us on Patreon. That really helps us out. Watch the videos a day early. And make sure if you need to get any parts for your Porsches, just make sure you check out PorschePartsByJeff.com first to compare prices. All right, guys, see you later.